Resident Evil 9 Requiem is one of the most anticipated releases of 2026, but will it live up to the hype, or will it end up leaving fans disappointed? Welcome back, everyone. This is a game that I've been so excited for, but how is it? Is it worth the money? And is it a game that deserves the hype? Well, for me, I am about probably around the halfway mark in this game right now. I'm going to try to keep this spoiler light so that you can get a sense based on my review, based on my first thoughts anyways, of if this game is something that you want to play. And then if this review does well, if you guys are interested in my thoughts on Resident Evil, I will come back at the end of the game and give you my full review based on where the story takes us, and we can go a little bit more into story beats and spoilers. Before we get into this, I want to know, what is your favorite Resident Evil game or story, and why do you love it? And who do you think is the coolest character? Let me know down in the comments below. First off, I want to start with the feeling of this game, because something that I love about it that I feel like makes it so cool is if you are a fan of Resident Evil, then there is a lot for you to appreciate. It feels like a love letter to everything that's come before. It's another game where we get a couple protagonists, both of whom I was very excited to play. Grace, a female protagonist who's an FBI analyst who we get to follow along with, who's kind of our fish out of water here. She has never really gotten tied up in Resident Evil stuff before, but boy, is she about to. And of course, Leon. We all love Leon. He is the darling of the Resident Evil franchise. I've loved him ever since I first played him, and I was very excited to see him returning in this. A lot of the action, a lot of the way that we even move through the story, and the fact that Leon is here reminds me a lot of Resident Evil 4. But there are also a lot of horror elements in this game that remind me of Village, RE8, because something that I really like about Village and something that I really like about Requiem is they both feel like very personal stories. When we are Grace and we are in that first-person perspective, you feel like you are going through this. You are going through the horror that Grace is seeing, and you are with her for all of it. And so that personal first-person perspective really adds to a lot of the scary elements of the game and makes you terrified in a really fun way. And then, of course, when it comes to Resident Evil 1, or just Resident Evil, the layout of that game, the mansion, and how you unfold the mystery of what it is, and you learn more about it as you go through and map it out. Once you are in the care center, it really feels like RE1, because you're in this central location, like kind of the central hall of the manor, of the house. And I feel like the way it unfolds really reminds me of Resident Evil, the first game. It's just fun to not know where you are and have to figure it out as you go, as the story takes you through the adventure that you're on and the horrors that you will witness. Something else that I love about this game, tying back to that feeling of Village, is the different perspectives. And what I love about it is that it is fully customizable. So the recommended perspectives that it will give you is Grace is first person, Leon is third person. I would recommend you stay with that. I have chosen to go that route, and I haven't had to change it yet. And it's been a really fun experience for me playing first person with Grace and then third person with Leon. I like that I get a little bit of both, because I'm a person that I like both perspectives in games. I think third person can be fun and first person can be fun. But the cool thing is, if you're a person that hates first person or hates third person and you can't do one of those modes, you can set the game to fully one or fully the other. You could even switch it up and make Leon first person and make Grace third person. You could toggle it while you're in the middle of gameplay. And there's a lot of work that they had to put in to give that to us, I know, with how they constructed this. So I just want to say thank you for giving us all of these options. I love that it's fully customizable. The game looks freaking amazing. If you are playing with all settings and max, this game is insanely good looking. My goodness, the hair, it's like every strand. There's just so much here. The ray tracing, the light, so much in terms of the atmosphere they're creating with every visual component of this game, from character models to the settings to the lighting to the way that curtains move. And I think that the game not only looks amazing to play, but it feels good to play too. And part of that is because we get some really cool weapons in this game, guys. We get Requiem. And as soon as I was introduced to Requiem as Leon, this weapon that we get in this game that, you never are going to get too many bullets for it because it's so powerful. It's so epic. I'm sure later in the game I'm going to get a lot of bullets for it and then I'm going to be scared of what I'm facing. But it is so cool. I actually already want to own a prop of it. I feel like I need it somewhere in my background because it's just so cool. And what I also love about this game is you get to upgrade your weapons and your kit over time as well, and your character over time. As Grace is going through all of this, you as Grace and as the player are getting a better handle on the situation. You're becoming more capable. And so the upgrades also feel like they're very tied to your journey as Grace, as the character going through the story. The inventory system is, as always, an absolute delight to play with. It always breaks my brain, but you also get to expand your inventory as you go, and you really get more and more into playing with what you're taking with you, what you're leaving behind, when to take this item, when to stock up on ammo, when to go in with less ammo, bare bones. I just have never seen a game that does resource management quite like Resident Evil does, and I think Requiem is really perfecting something, refining something that we've continued to revisit over these games and we see evolve and we see get better and better. And Requiem for me has been the most satisfying when it comes to the inventory system. I also love the brutality of this game. We get really epic weapons and we get to use them and we get to see the effects on characters and see what happens to them firsthand, especially if you're in that first-person perspective. The things that you will do to people, the things that you will suffer are very disturbing. So, trigger warning in effect. This is a gruesome and grotesque game, and they do not shy away from that. And it is a true delight if you are into the gore elements that we see. The evolution of the enemies as well and how that's tied to the story I think is so cool. And it's not just in terms of the game mechanics, but it's also cool in how that evolves in terms of gameplay. But the gameplay is so well tied to the story of this because as we're seeing our enemies evolve over time, we're also learning more and more about what Gideon is up to here. And we're getting to uncover some more of the mystery of the story. And the mystery of the story is what is so compelling. It really sinks its hooks into you. And it's not just about the mystery in terms of, all of the files I'm finding and seeing how the scenes play out. It's also about the choices that they make for the characters over time. Like, for example, with Grace, this is something that you'll observe as you play through. This is a very minor spoiler because I feel like they talk about it in the trailers. But as we know, Grace has trauma in her past. And so when she returns to the hotel, she is revisiting that trauma. She is opening these old wounds. And you actually get to see how that initial experience affected her. If you'll notice in the flashback, Grace does not have any stutter. And yet in the main timeline that we're going through with Grace, she has a really intense stutter because the trauma has imprinted on her. There's a strength to Grace that you instantly admire with her, and it makes her such a likable character. So even though she's new to the franchise, I have loved playing as her. And a big part of that is also our cast. And I want to say hats off to Angela Sanalbano, who is playing Grace Ashcroft in this game. She does the voice acting and the mocap for the English side of Grace. And wow, I can't believe this is her video game debut. I cannot wait to see her in more video games. She is amazing. She is by far, I think so far, the best in the cast, but everyone is great. They really brought it with the acting in this game. That being said, this game is also just so good because it's got these satisfying game loops. And what I love about it is although it's horrific and there are things that I actively am afraid of and I don't want to go to because I'm scared, the game makes me go. It's like, well, that objective's over there, and if you want to open that safe, I mean, it's scary, but you're gonna need to go over there. When you accomplish something in the game, when you upgrade something, when you pick a lock, when you unlock a new area, when you get a new map, when you progress, the game is so satisfying and it's fun. And that is ultimately what I look for in a game is how addictive is the experience, how fun is the game, how much do I want to keep playing this game? And the answer is, I just want to play till I'm done, because I didn't even want to stop playing last night. I played for 6 hours and I wanted to keep going, but I knew I should sleep. So to me, that is a testament to a good game. We'll see how I feel about it when I get to the ending. Obviously, that might change things, so stay tuned for that. But for now, we're off to a very promising start. Let me know your thoughts on Resident Evil Requiem if you're playing through it, or if you are hesitating, or, if you're thinking about playing through it, but maybe there's something that's holding you back, or if you're just waiting until you can get it and then you're gonna play it hardcore, because it is an expensive game. The price tag is still hefty, and I want to say a big thank you to Lil Poet Boy in my community who gifted me Resident Evil Requiem. Thank you so much for gifting me this game, because it does help me out. I buy a lot of games in the year as a streamer, and anytime you guys gift games to me, it means so much. And that's why I'm going to be also doing another community-a-thon this month, where I will be doing that on the last Sunday of the month. So stay tuned for that if you want to check out some of the games people have purchased for me. And if you get me a game, I add it to my list and I try to work through as many of the games y'all have gifted to me, doing about an hour to 30 minutes for each game, sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little less than an hour. We usually don't go less than 30 minutes though. And then play through some of those. And man, you guys have gifted me some amazing games. There are just so many amazing games out there. And I'm happy to say that right now, for me, Resident Evil Requiem RE9 is one of them. That's all I got for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. And until next time, friends, stay nerdy. Bye! And if you like hearing me talk about video games, you need to check this out. What is happening with this?